Hello again, everyone. This is the Box Score Network. I am Ben Parker, and we are affiliated with Pro Football Enterprises as well. So, whatever you're watching this channel on, go check out the others as well. That's Austin Freed, and that's Shane Ratliff. Tonight, we are talking about David Bailey from Texas Tech. I doubt we'll see this guy exactly the same. I figure we all three like him, but I doubt we all three see him exactly the same. So, that's not unusual on prospects like this. But Austin, first, I'll let you set the table on David Bailey here in just a second, but tell everybody about your show, Tricky Takes, what it is, and where they can find it.
No, thanks for that. So I have a podcast called Tricky Takes where we talk about mostly football and baseball. You can find it on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. That's with me and my two best friends. We do that every week. And then we also have a new YouTube show also called Tricky Takes. Go check that out. That is a more of an entertainment style show. It is a fun kind of fantasy football-esque game show that I created with the help of them too. And that one is awesome. Comes out usually on Friday afternoon. So check that out.
Absolutely. It's a tricky 50 thing. The game that y'all play is
Yeah.
it's very involved. There's a
hmm
lot to it, but I really enjoy the intricacies. Real quick, height, weight on David Bailey, 6'3", 250, asterisk, asterisk. You'll find all kinds of listed heights and weights on this guy. Welcome to draft world, right? But that's some of the most common heights and weights I found on David Bailey. Okay. Austin, take it away, man.
So I'm gonna this first round's kind of gonna be prefacing some
Okay.
things, and then we'll come back and hit some of the high notes later. I wanted to try this style. Um, it's concerning that he is still only a pass rusher. He does not have much experience in the run game. And is pretty much, at least at his Stanford tape before he transferred to Texas Tech, was off the field entirely. If it wasn't a passing down, and
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
concerning. He also had really wide alignments. Like he is out way outside all the time, and yeah, I mean you're like, is this guy? Is this guy a cornerback? Like, what is he? What is that? What is happening here? Yeah, I mean he's got little legs. Like I feel like
Yeah.
he I don't know, he looks short and I don't want to say like weak, but he doesn't have the sort of big powerful legs that I'm used to looking at when I'm looking at someone who's like supposed to be really explosive, get off the edge, set
Yeah.
edges, anchor, do all that kind of stuff. He just doesn't have that build to him, which is concerning. I think he loses contain a lot. And I think a lot of that is due to probably having a slightly weaker base than most of his peers, and that's crazy because he's is in college. So I am very concerned to what that would look like on Sundays. And effort is consistently an issue with him. It feels like 2 out of every 3 plays he is just not finishing the rep.
Wow.
Especially if it's a run. It's like
Wow.
5 of every 6 run plays that he's on the field, which might be the total number of run plays he's on the field for. But it feels like if it's ever a run, he's just like, oh well, that's not what I'm here to do. And then on pass plays, if he ever, I feel like when he gets double teamed, he's like, okay, well, I got double teamed, so I did my job here by getting double teamed rather than trying to actually fight through the double team and then set an edge at that point or do something. So yeah, a lot of I think question marks I had or things that irked me, and then I'll let y'all kind of hype him up, and then I'll come in and sing his praises on my next round because there is really a lot to love about this guy.
Okay, Shane, I'm gonna apologize like I did with Austin last time. There's so much about what Austin just said that lines up with my notes. I'm gonna do a little synergy thing here and read through my pile of notes, and we will get to you, Shane, and let you take as long as you want here. Okay, so here we go. Excellent first step. It's deceptively smooth, but it's explosive and quick. That first step, I really love David's first step. His second and third steps are fast and explosive as well. But again, they're very deceptive. It's really smooth acceleration. I love his work off the edge. Goodness gracious. He's owned guys and passed guys quickly with efficient movement and effort. I mean, his work off the edge is, and it's so smooth. The smoothness, and then but it's so smooth. It's just blindingly, deceptively fast off the edge. I really really love that. Can bull rush to collect a sack on occasion, but that's really not his game. You're not going to see him do that very often. Usually, if he's doing that, it's because the guy's kind of setting up to stop his outside quickness, and then he just runs right into them. He does have enough upper body strength to do that, but you're not going to see a lot of bull rushes out of him. Has a very good inside spin move. Uses that 2 or 3 times a game. I mean, it's a very good one. Very good inside spin move. So I really love that. He's got so quick off the edge, so his kind of set you up move, if you're trying to stop him off the edge, he's going to spin right back inside. I really enjoy watching that. The Utah game. Those Utah tackles kept him largely in check most of the game until the fourth quarter when he picked up a sack and a pressure in the fourth quarter. Now, that's not every play, but largely, and for those, and most of you in the audience know this already, the Utah tackles are getting considered for the NFL draft as well. So that's one reason I mentioned them. They're both very good, different opinions on exactly how good, but they largely kept him in check until late in the game when he did break out. Arizona State, however, had to double team him most of the game. He was heating up their quarterback. I mean, you talk about causing problems versus Arizona State. He caused a lot of problems. They had to double team him on the edge. I mean, they had to double team him a lot. If he reads run, he's fast enough to slip inside and blow up a running play. But generally speaking, he's not making many plays versus the run. Okay. Again, if he spots it, he's quick enough, he can work through and just absolutely, but he's not making many plays against the run, folks. He's just not. All right. I mean, it's not that he cannot, it's just that he is not. Okay. It's just not a lot, not a lot to love there against the run. Um, Teams aren't necessarily purposely running at him, but he's not effective in run defense. I think he's a minus. Matter of fact, Austin mentioned it. There's times he's just off the field for that. It's like, hey, why don't you go take a break, David? We'll work against the run. We'll get you back in on the passing downs, man. Easily fast enough to move around to different parts of the field. I mean, this guy has the speed and the acceleration, the athleticism. Check, check, check. But he's not making many plays outside the hash marks on sweeps or screens. And I always look for that because, like, listen, I don't expect my 280-pound defensive end to be out there in the flat and the boundary chasing down screens and stuff. Some of them can, but I'm not necessarily. When I've got a lighter guy like this who's going to be on the edge a lot getting after the quarterback, I really do need him to be able to scoot out there and catch some of those screens and blow them up. I didn't see as much of that as I wanted to see, unfortunately. Austin, you mentioned the effort thing. That's right where it lines up at. And that's on sweeps too, unfortunately. He's so engaged in pass rush. His job is harassing the quarterback, and I realize that's why Texas Tech paid him the money and brought him in to get after the quarterback. But still, Austin, you mentioned it. It's a little concerning that he's no further developed in some of these other areas of his game, even though he's a absolute mercenary at getting to the quarterback. Gets labeled as a line, just FYI, gets labeled as a linebacker on occasion. You'll see that on some websites, but that's really for scheme and blocking purposes. He rarely drops into pass coverage. And when he does, it's usually like a quarterback spy or just batting down balls kind of a thing. There's not a lot of tape of him dropping into pass coverage and working the zone or playing one-on-one. I'm not saying that he cannot. I'm just saying that he has not. So just not much of that there on tape, unfortunately. Prefers to stand up, not a 3 or 4 point guy typically. Pursues quarterbacks very well. My gosh. Even if they're running away from him, he can go hunt them down. But Austin, like you mentioned, he does not pursue running backs very well. I mean, if they're running away from him, it's kind of like, it's not my job, you know? Now, I realize there's on tape a couple of plays of him hunting down running backs on the other side of the field and even up at second level, but that's not very often. More often than not, he is not hunting down those running backs. It's just like it's not in his target range. I'm almost done here. Inconsistent hands. Sometimes does a great job at slapping hands away easily on his path. Other times he's losing hand battles, I noticed. I don't know what that is, if that's a discipline thing or what. Inconsistent hands. Stunts well. He should do a lot more of that in the NFL than he does at Texas Tech. The big guys, you know, taking the low chip for him so he can skirt around. He is very good at stunting. He should do a whole heck of a lot more of that at the NFL level than what he's doing at Texas Tech. This guy might get 4 or 5 sacks in an NFL game. Don't be surprised. But in the other areas of his game, it's inconsistent. In fact, I think it's minus. I think it's a liability in the other areas of his game. Um, does not have the mass for defensive tackle, but plays both defensive ends with ease. That's David Bailey. I love some things and I don't like some other things. So, Shane, thank you for waiting so long as I've rattled through, and it's been your third turn here. So take it away, David Bailey.
Well, I'm gonna have some definite repeats between you and Austin. So I think the thing that steps out to me first, both of you guys mentioned it. He's a guy where when you watch him standing with the rest of the defense in the huddle, you go, "Are you sure he's not the corner?" Because he's really 6'1" and like 210, but
Right.
they say he's
Right.
260, which you mentioned about why sometimes they list him as linebacker. I
Yeah.
think that's why. It's because people would laugh at them if you put him as a defensive end and you say he's that size. Now, there are guys in the NFL that can do that. He
Right.
has the skills that he is good at, I think he's great at. Um, his counter off of his own pass rush moves, I think, is high level. He knows what he's good at as a pass rusher, so he has developed the counters off of that. Just like you mentioned against Utah, the tackles continuously to set deep to try to get him to go around. The move he made to get the first sack and the other hurry was off of a counter move of his. He
Yeah.
had that planned. He worked the plan. He got through to it. I think sometimes he gets absolutely manhandled, which is another reason why they play him so far out on the edge. You really saw this when
Yes.
he was at Stanford and they didn't let him play as far out. He got swallowed up on sometimes when he was trying to be able to work against other people. Um, the thing that I think is, as Austin said, you don't see any growth really in his game for what else he can do. Um, the effort is the thing that scares me more than anything. Because if you have this type of motor, when you decide you want to go after a quarterback, you'd think, hey, if he even turns it on like 70% on these other plays, how are we going to be able to block him? I think there's times where he makes the play for the tackle because he's decided I'm not going to get to him, so I'm not going to go any harder. You see him sometimes he'll do that. That's how he over pursues. They'll be able to bend him around the quarterback. The quarterback will lose contain because he really just stopped going full bore. Um, the things that surprise me on this are like he is explosive, has the counters, by all stretches of the imagination, pretty intelligent football player. Played at Mater Dei in high school, got into Stanford, not the easiest thing to do. But like you said, Texas Tech ran out the oil money, and all of a sudden you decide I can find myself in West Texas and we'll figure this out.
Absolutely.
Um, from my perspective, it, he's one that, and there's a lot of guys that do this that are absolute sack machines in college, and then you go, hey, what happened to that guy? They never get a chance in the NFL. He is extremely good, like I said, at what he does, but I mean, he's going to be a hard guy for me to draft in any of the upper rounds because I don't have anything on tape that tells me I can play him for anything more than the two downs that I think we're going to get passes on.
See, and that's a great point, Austin. I'm coming right to you. I, and again, I'm not saying that he cannot, because guys, sometimes guys kick it in gear. I have major concerns that this guy can be on the field for 3 downs. I just highly doubt that anytime in his first couple of NFL seasons. I really doubt that. But that ability to get the quarterback off the edge, plus I see a spin move, it's so good. I really love that one thing that he does, and I do currently view him as a one-trick pony. And if you're in the audience and you've done the work too, and you see it differently, I don't mean to insult a prospect that you like because I really like him. But dang it, it's it's hard for me to see him anything more than right now as just a guy that gets to the quarterback. That's where I'm at with him. So I've got him as a late first round guy. Now, a lot of different draft sites that I work off of, which is Mock Draft Simulator, it's PFF, it's Pro Football Network. There's a couple more. There's like five of them. Typically, you see him even higher than that. It's not unusual to see him middle first round. And I get it. If you're a team, there are teams out there that desperately need somebody to get to the quarterback, right? I mean, desperately. So if you need that one attribute so badly, I get it why you might be looking at him middle first round. I've got him late first round. So Austin, back to you. You already worked on the concerns. So feel free to heap on all the praise you want to here and then whatever else you got going.
Yeah, so James Pierce Jr. Oh, I'm sorry. This is David Bailey.
You're exactly right,
Actually, you know
Austin.
what? I'll just read the same notes. It's not going to make a difference. It's the same guy. Um, I mean, just stupidly productive. Like
Yeah.
the guy's was barely on the field at Stanford
Yeah.
and was racking up just a sack. It seemed like he was probably on the field for only a third of the plays of
Yeah.
the team, and had a 7 sack season last year. Um, yeah, stupidly productive. Transfers to Texas Tech and led the nation in sacks. I think almost 12 or 12 and a half or 13.
Mhm.
I can't remember exactly what number he got to, but just ridiculous levels of production to the point where you have to say like he's just got it. Like some guys just got it. He's got it. And I made the joke about James Pierce Jr. Like that was him. Like he just racked up sack numbers in college. And everybody's like, well, like the traits are kind of there, but like he's a little small. Obviously, I mean Bailey's even smaller in terms of like stature wise
Yeah.
than Pierce, who was like 6'5" at least. But like some guys just know how to get to the quarterback, and we've seen James Pierce wrap up or yeah have 4.5 sacks in his last 4 games. Like he's kind of started to arrive. Like
He has.
it took him half a season, as it takes a lot of young players longer than that, but. Yeah, like some guys just have it, and I'm afraid he might just have it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about the spin move is elite. He's got a real. I talked about his lower body, but I'm not hurt. Being negative on him anymore. Dude's ripped. Upper body is strong.
Yeah.
Like the dude's
Yeah.
got power in his arms, and I've seen a few games where he gets one good power move on a guy, just like a one good bull rush or a strong arm, and then the tackles are scared, and suddenly he's just ghost moving, like, faking
Yes.
a strong arm and just ripping under because he has world class bend. I don't
Yeah.
know if I've ever seen somebody
Yeah.
who bends as much as he does and also maintains the level of speed that he has while I do it. The dude
Yes.
turns the corner. When you talk about edge, who can turn the corner, it is crazy. And he does it from such a wide angle. I think he could start even farther inside because he has
Right.
such incredible bend. I don't think he needs to come from this wide angle that a lot of guys do. I think he can play a little bit more of a traditional split out there and just use that incredible bend he has. Again, we'll see what happens on Sundays because it's a whole different beast of a game. I also think, like, when you just talk about like having it, the dude has like just a knack for forcing fumbles. He forced two his freshman year,
Mhm.
five his junior year, and then I think two more this year as a senior.
Wow.
So like the guy just knows how to like the guy just has a nose for forcing fumbles, which
Mm.
some guys just have that. It's just a thing.
Yes.
And I don't know what his like one-on-one like rate was, but I don't feel like he ever was just purely one-on-one and just flat out lost the rep. Like it was at worst a wash in a one-on-one, or it was just a win. Like it didn't feel like he ever got truly like
Right.
manhandled or beat by the tackle in a one-on-one situation. There were times where they doubled him up and he was just completely out of it, but I mean, you're taking a double team. You can't expect, um, you know, to have the success rate you do on a one-on-one in a double team. Um, let's see, what else do I have? There were a few times where he just had a nose for the running like back, he sniffed out that it was going to be a run play,
Yes.
got just straight past his guy
Yes.
and hit hard. Like the dude hits hard when he hits the running backs. Um, so that was really impressive. And then I just want to talk a little bit more about just like athleticism numbers. I think he might like set a 3 cone record. Like in the combine, he's going to chart ridiculously. He reminds me a bit of Chop Robinson from a couple years ago out of Penn State. Just like super freaky. But Chop Robinson, the knock on him was like, okay, well, if he's such a freak, why wasn't he productive? We
Mhm.
have the productivity here. Like he was extremely productive. So I think his draft stock after the combine, if he is as freaky in just terms of the agility scores as I think he's going to be, and if he shows enough power in his arms and puts up a good bench, I think we're talking about a top half pick before pick 16.
I wouldn't be surprised. It's welcome to Draft World. It's so weird because earlier tonight we did a profile on Peter Woods that you guys can see on this same channel where we talked about we love everything here about this guy, and yet the productivity isn't there. We roll over here to
Mhm.
David Bailey, and there's all kinds of freaking concerns, and yet the productivity is off the charts. And you're like, an NFL team, you're trying to pick what works for you. Um, the the bend around the corner, Austin, that you mentioned, that bend, the imagery that comes to mind when I see him, that bend around the corner, that smooth acceleration. There's two things. A motorcycle on a paved track going around a
Mhm.
corner and laying down almost flat, right? That and still holding that grip. That's one thing. And then the Olympic ice skaters who are skating around a
Yeah.
curve the same way, they're
Yeah.
almost flat. Their hand is kind of touching the ice, but they don't lose grip. That's what he can do. He's that astoundingly bendy, curvy, smooth, fast around the edge. It's tremendous. I tell you what I found with David Bailey, because again, I've only really got a late first round grade on him, but I've done 100 mock drafts at this point, right? For many different teams. And I kept coming up to around pick 10, 11, 12, being like, man, I need this guy.
Yeah.
Maybe I can't use him on every down. I probably can't. But boy, we need somebody who can get after the quarterback. This guy looks like he can do it. So, in some of these mocks, I've been taking him there, even though I don't have him graded that high. The dilemma here for David Bailey. All right, Shane, you get the last word. Take as long as you want. Tell us about where you would draft him, but finish this out here, man.
Well, I think both you and Austin hit it on it. And I was going to mention, luckily you already knocked it out, Ben, but that's a GP motorcycle. He can run that
Yes.
circle like nobody's business. And like Austin said, the thing is, for not a lot of lower body weight, his,
Yeah.
his upper body, he can fight off tackles while he's still doing that, which is what a lot of speed guys lose. They get around the corner, but then they get flattened out because the
Yep.
tackle just lays on them. Nobody really gets a chance to do that to David Bailey. I think he's one where he's going to test really well. As Austin said, he's an athletic freak, and I think some of the numbers are going to be, when you're talking like 99th percentile. There are not going to be a lot of guys that have been drafted. They're going to be higher than what he'll put up. I think for him, he's, and again, you're talking about great defensive coordinators, but if you're a Minnesota Vikings and you get a shot to go after a guy, you have a defensive coordinator that loves to move people around and can scheme to get a guy that's only going to pass rush openings. You know, New England Patriots, if you're a Vrabel and you're going to be
Mm.
able to push a guy around again, like what else does my team need right now? Oh, I could use some more sacks. Like those are the things where I see somebody moving up to try to get a hold of him. Um, I mean, Austin hit on it when he's a guy where maybe he makes it through the first half of an NFL season, you don't have anything, and then the final 7 games he comes out with 10.5 sacks.
Yeah.
You know what? There for him to put up the numbers he put up this year at Texas Tech, there was no doubt that this was exactly what he was going to do. I mean, he's
Yep.
out there to pass rush. You're not going like, oh wow, he beat three. That's all he does. So I mean, for you to put up those numbers, and you knew that's what was going to happen, and Texas Tech is playing the way they are, he has put up the numbers to get for him to get himself a chance in the NFL. Because I think with his size and everything else, there's the knocks that you can look at. I think people were going to push him to the side. But when he came up with 12 and a half sacks, then you're like, oh, I mean, what am I going to do now? Like, I don't, his job is going to be the same in the NFL. Will he be going against better players? Yes, of course you can say that. But, when you're getting 12 and a half, 13 sacks a year, I don't care who you're playing against. I mean, that's impressive. And he plays in a league where they try to throw the ball around, so the ball gets out quick too. So for him to get to guys and get the thing, and the Arizona State game, as you mentioned, Ben, I mean, that was an absolute massacre. He could have done whatever he wanted against whoever they put out there. There was no help for him.
Yeah.
Um, the tape that I enjoyed watching, and you, Ben, again, Ben, is Utah has a chance. Their offensive line is up for the Joe Moore Award, which is the best offensive line in college football. I think everybody on that line is going to get an opportunity to get drafted. The tackles are the two guys they talk about the most. As Austin said, even in that game, he might have tied a couple of reps, but he sure didn't lose them. And then when it came time for him to have to win the game, that's what he went out and did. So again, if you're the target of an offense and you're still getting your job done, I think some team's going to get real happy to get them lower than what they probably should, and you just let him eat, let him do what he does, and don't ask him to do the other things. That's what we got the other 11 guys, the other 10 guys to take care of.
Yeah, see, Shane, I agree. That's what I would do. I wouldn't, at least in his first season or two, I wouldn't try to turn this guy into something else. You've got a defense with 11 guys. They should each have a job. David's got his job. It's not going to be stopping the run and pass coverage. It's going to be getting after the quarterback. So that's David Bailey, Texas Tech. He will be in this year's draft. He will be probably fairly high up somewhere, depending on who needs what. That's Austin Freed. That's Shane Ratliff. Thank y'all so much for being a part. Have a great one. Good night.